So in my liner, which I've had out before to add this in, but this is the only fasteners you need to remove for the liner are for the tour pack retaining strap anchor. And there's two T20 screws from this side. I can't see the screen, but hopefully you can see those. T20, two screws, and then this whole liner will come out. And then I'll show you the three fasteners that hold the arm speaker pod, rear speaker pod backrest. I just have a bungee cord to my luggage rack up to the garage door release or lock, sorry, just to support it so I didn't have to lean it against anything or lower it all the way back down. Two T20 screws obviously hold the tension on it, so it's off the screw when you're unscrewing the second or the last retaining screw for the anchor. And just retract back in. I'm just going to lower it out of that bungee, and then the liner will lift out. It's on mine, I'm assuming it's on all of them. I did have this out before, and you can even see where I screwed up, cutting a hole for my auxiliary 12 volt. And just riveted the piece back in. Alright, so you can see the three 7/16 hex head screws that go through the tour pack into the speaker pod. Those three fasteners will be removed, and then the cup holder bracket will slide between the tour pack and the speaker pod, and then those retain those bolts because you will reuse that hardware. You read that in there, but it's a 7/16. All three bolts are out. That's it. Slides right off. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line all three back off, get them all started, then I'll relock tight the fasteners and put them in. Just want to check the fitment on this. It does look like I'm going to have a little trouble with this bottom left slotted hole. Not the best fitment, it appears. That's going to be a problem. What I'm going to do is fit over the shoulder of that vent. I'm just going to line that one. I'm going to do this bottom left slotted one last, I mean. See, the first two line up fine, but as I suspected, That gasket stays on there. Let's see if this will thread through and catch threads in the pod and line up correctly. It does not appear that it is. You can't really see in there. Let's see if it's lining up. Drawing it in. It did start. Okay. It looked like it was going to be tough to line up, but it appears it all lined up just fine. And now before I tighten them, I'm going to make sure that that vent is going through the bracket. So I'm going to need another light. Well, since I had to stop and get a light, grab a brew. This appears to be only a one can job. I probably didn't even show the label on that. Apollo Hero. It's an IPA. Today's an IPA day. And that is lining up in there. That is as I thought it was. I was just holding it up there. It looked like that last hole, the slotted one, the bottom left, was going to be tricky to line up, but maybe I just wasn't looking at it at the right angle. Definitely make sure all your bolts are well started so you don't cross set them in that fastener, which obviously that that nut end is not in anything substantial. You're not going to really crank on these things either. You depend on the Loctite to hold it. So I'm going to snug them all up so everything stays in place lined up, hopefully. Then I'll pull them out one at a time, Loctite them, and reinstall them. Do a quick test fit of this. I don't know if I want the weight hanging off it though while I'm removing and reinstalling. Now, hopefully that's not gonna interfere. It's doesn't really seem right at all. There's a flat. There's a couple flat spots. You can put a wrench on this. This looks like I'm gonna have to do because this has got a. Actually, show that. Obviously, no instructions came with this, but it's pretty basic. Not many parts to it. And if this doesn't work out, throw another video or edit onto this one. But well, I guess it is kind of flat. At the top, it's beveled, made it look curved. It is pretty flat in there. That mounts up against a flat piece here. I wonder if that's even supposed to go on the other way. I like that at all. It's even, that stud's going to stick out through here. I'll have to look at how it is when she sits on here and make sure that's not going to get her. this seems backwards, but I think I'm going to do it this way. It'll be less protruding. And this is going to get some Loctite too, because I'm not... And that's level, but that's probably about a 7/16. I'm going to grab an open end. That's what it looks like. Installed. Don't look bad. Actually, I look at it from back here. It's a little not level. Grab some Loctite. Keep some in the tool bag on the bike, but I keep it in one of these. And it'll leak out. I'm going to speed up these parts so you're not bored with unscrewing these long fasteners out of here. And that is moving more than I want to. You know what? I am going to take that extra weight off the end. I had the two leather pouch style drink holders on the fronts of the saddlebags, but we had a problem with hers, and she sits up, her seat's up higher, and it's harder for her to reach down to that cup holder slash bag anyway. So if we would try this one up here for her, it's right there by her arms. I don't normally have sound, or at least my voice, in these videos because I hate the sound of my voice, but this is the first one where I might leave it in instead of having to type out all the tips or steps. I'm not liking that. I bet you I'm going to have trouble getting that back in. Let's see. It's coming off snug. And they are long, and I'm going to, obviously, the old Loctite is cleaned out enough to be in on and off. I'm going to only put it where the original Loctite was. I'm not going to put it on the, normally I put it on the first starting threads. And let it pull it all the way down, but. And since it's going through, well, it's only about not even an 1/8 inch, but extra. But I did add the Loctite down a little bit, down the threads, to make sure that it's to where it's got to be. And I don't like the way this. I might have to loosen them all, start all over. I don't like the way this one's starting. Oh, it went. down quite a bit. I'm just using this to run them in, then I'll do it by hand. Well, you know why? Because that one was all by itself up there, holding against all the leverage. But this one is in between the other two in the triangle, and it's closer to another fastener, so it didn't even move. This was going to go nice. Came out a lot easier. Everything stayed lined up. Play the same we said for this one. Yep. It was just that top one because it was kind of unsupported and off on its own. Throw that all the way out. This one also goes through my little auxiliary 12-volt plug socket. This Loctite blue is a different one than I usually use. This is like almost comes out like a paste or a gel. Mine's, I'll just use my other one that I'm used to. It's more of a liquid. I think I'm going to I'll put them both, they'll both fit in here. I'll put them both back in this little pill bottle. It might have moved on me. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. Don't like that. I think that's got it. You know, as I turn this drill, it's not real powerful, but it's enough to strip out those nut surds or whatever. So I turn it down to the lowest setting. I mean, I can also stop when I feel it snugging like that, but and I'll just tighten that up by hand. Put the liner back in, put that retainer strap anchor back in, we're done. I'm gonna fit it. Well, probably would have been a one beer if I would have started my beer when I started the job. Get these all snug. Now, you don't want to over tighten these. The Loctite is what's going to hold them. Take one back out because I forgot. What I'll do, I had this security box tether little cable anchor into one of those. I think I'm not even gonna put this back in yet. If I do, it's long enough. Out there, I could put it over here. But that's not going back in today. There are only no tools down under the liner. There's the liner, takes the beer. just dump one of them screws out. Like both in there. Make sure you don't lose the 2 screws, obviously. That's my little 12 volt socket. Onto place. Pretty simple. 2 screws and my driver ready. Now if I had that thing set up anywhere near close, that bungee will also help me here. Holding this. Set it. No, maybe not. If I would have bunged it over here, I would have grabbed another one. Screw ready. Kind of holding up the strap and the anchor itself with one hand. Trying to line up the screws with the other. One. Probably a lot easier way to put a clamp on there to keep it from going in. Keep slack on it, but for as long as it takes and as easy as it is, this works. Tighten up the 2 T20 screws. That's it. Done. This will have to be, I'll give it a final adjustment when the old lady sits back here. Right now it's kind of following the line of the tour pack, that same plane, but I have a feeling it's going to get adjusted after she sits on there. Maybe even after standing the bike up I might change it, but that's it for that. I should vacuum that out. Alright, if you want to see me wrenching on any of my bikes or my family's bikes or my Jeeps or families or friends Jeeps or bikes, hit that like and subscribe and notification button, and get enough of that, maybe we'll do some more of this stuff. Thank you. Thanks for watching.